previous podcast, we discovered how the Canary Islands were formed millions and millions of years ago through a number of exploding volcanoes. Those volcanoes were features in nature, formed through millions of years. As many of you know, one of the things that I'm most interested in is Cesar Manrique, who was for many years Ireland's son, a man who was passionate about the Canary Islands. Let's just turn the pages of my new book as we look through and understand Cesar Manrique. The pages of this book are very thick, in fact, as you may be able to hear. Let's just turn the page a bit. And so, as Cesar says himself, he was a man committed to the written word, according to his book. It says he resorted to writing in general when circumstance dictated, or if not, moved by the need for self-expression, or prompted by certain public events. Excepting some scarce poetical texts and his epistolary, he penned his intimate thoughts, only occasionally, restrained perhaps by an unconfessed timidity. Strange in an artist who otherwise expressed his compromise with freedom so radically. However, during the final years of his life, he noted some fragments down to connection with his innermost convictions, and in particular, certain notes on his creative universe and his special convenience with nature. It tells me in the book that the content developed by Manrique makes up a map of social, environmental, and artistic references representing his life. By far most numerous are the texts devoted to the defence for his forthright stance in relation to issues of the environment, urban planning, the protection of the fragile Canarian territory. The thoughts recorded by Cesar Manrique throughout his life reveal the cogency of his creative universe and of his theories. They expand in their formulation like a spiral harping on the convictions he never seemed to express. A belief in beauty as the supreme state of man, the need to blend harmoniously with nature's rhythms, the proposal of total art. Let's word tells me that the present edition of written fragments by Manrique does not make up a compilation of aphorisms. This brief study hopes to offer the public at large the basic corpus of the ideas, passions, real forces, and dreams which inspired the life and the creative activity of an exceptional artist. In order to compile the selection of fragments, the writings of Manrique, kept at the archives of the Cesar Manrique Foundation, have been examined, with the exception of his diaries and his epistolary. His public opinions in the press are not included, save for 2 interviews which have been considered, because one of them was answered in a very brusque way. As we have a look further through the book, we can see some of Manrique's most famous texts, including Man, the Renewal of Wonder. The awareness of the miracle of life and its brevity have made me see clearly that we are impoverished by the tragic sentiment of our existence. The only important reality is the great mystery of life and of man with his inexhaustible imagination and his infinite ways of acting. We must observe and learn from the energies of life. And here we see Cesar Manrique with his brothers and sisters during the 30s. Manrique said, "I want to sing a hymn to life, forever realizing that I myself am a witness of the change which has brought me to life, in order to wonder at the great solemn spectacle of such a marvelous energy, which just for one fleeting moment shall never be repeated again." And in this photograph here, we see Manrique, his art studio, in his home in Lanzarote, the Canary Islands, Canary. This was Cesar at the age of 50. We seem to have skipped the page, so let me sometimes been said to be misunderstood, as was most popularly seen in this photograph here, with one of his best friends and one of his most popular but most unusual art installations. In this, he says, "I have always pursued my own motivation. I have wanted to let myself, yet instinct's answer has invariably been denial." And in this photograph here, we see Cesar with one of his best friends, the poet Raphael Alberti. Raphael Alberti. Said to be a joyous man on many occasions. This pictured here is Manrique on a visit to China in 1976. 76. And in this photograph here, we see Cesar Manrique with some of his friends over dinner in Madrid in 1983. 83. Wherever Manrique was, he was often painting. As an architect, he also enjoyed not just design, but also bringing the visions of his mind to life through art. He was also a strong advocate of keeping the Canary Islands special, as in this left photograph here. Where we see him defending a beach in 1988. I have been fascinated with Cesar Manrique as both a boy and adult. His work is his legacy right across the Canary Islands, but nowhere more so than his home island of Lanzarote, where Manrique lived until his passing some years ago. Thank you for joining me on this journey as we discovered a bit more about not just Cesar Manrique, but about the Canary Islands too. I wish you well, friends. I wish you sleep well. And we will talk again very soon.